Hey everybody, it's Lon.TV, and I wasn't planning on shooting a video today, hence the casual attire, but this box came in of some stuff to go with the new 4K OLED TV I bought that's upstairs right now, and I figured I would just unbox it in front of all of you because this is kind of like a fun thing that a lot of people do, this haul video thing, so I thought I'd give it a shot, and you can tell me what you think of this. And what happened was when I bought that television, Amazon was giving you back 10% in points on your Amazon credit card, and those points showed up very quickly, and I was home alone on Christmas Eve when my wife was out with the in-laws, and I figured, hey, I'll do a little bit of shopping with those points, and I picked up some stuff. So what we're going to look at first is the player that I chose to play back these 4K Blu-rays, then I'll show you some of the movies here. So let me get this out first. And what happened was I really wanted to get a PlayStation 4 because I don't own one. But what happened was the PlayStation 4 Pro, which does support 4K televisions, doesn't support 4K Blu-rays for some reason. It has the same old Blu-ray player that the original one had. So I bought another Xbox One. I already have one. I barely use it. But this one is the Xbox One S that does support 4K Blu-ray playback and HDR. I don't believe it supports all of the HDR modes like Dolby Vision, so I'm hoping maybe they can update that in a firmware update or something, but it does give me a little more than just what a Blu-ray player might give me, namely the ability to run some apps like YouTube, but also my HD Home Run app that I use to watch and record live TV. So that can all run through this box here, and it was on sale, which is what prompted me to get it. $200, which isn't much more than a regular Blu-ray player, but I get a bunch of additional functionality, and hey, maybe I might play a game or two on it. This one came with 2 games for its $200 price tag, Forza 3 and Forza Hot Wheels or something. So I'll maybe check those out when I have a little bit of time. So that's the player. I'm going to be hooking this up in a different video and talking about it after I get it all working. One of my challenges is that my receiver upstairs, which you'll see on my wrap-up video where I did a home theater tour, doesn't support the 4K copyright standard HDCP 2.2. So I'm looking to do something called HDMI ARC to have the audio run back from the television to the receiver. I'll let you know how all that works out. I think I'm probably going to have to get a new receiver to get all this stuff working. This copy protection stuff drives me crazy because I think it does hinder people because, hey, you can get the Blu-ray player relatively inexpensively, but guess what? All of your equipment's not going to work with it, so you've got to upgrade all of that too. And that was kind of an aggravation point for me there. So in any event, enough griping. Let's take a look at the movies that I picked up, and I'm going to start with a few of the more recent ones here, and then we'll work back to some of the classics that I buy every time there's a new video format out. So we're going to start here with Arrival, and I haven't yet seen this movie, but I am really eager to see it, and my wife wanted to see it too, so I figured, hey, this one's out on 4K. They had a sale at Amazon, so I tacked it onto my shopping cart, and I really like the premise of this, kind of what I think would actually happen if we ever met an extraterrestrial race. They're not going to communicate the same way we do. They're not going to look the same way we do, and their technology will be far beyond our own. This one has all those elements in it, at least from what I've seen in the trailer, so I'm eager to see it, and I heard a lot of good things about it. Now, what's cool about a lot of these movies is that they come also with the regular Blu-ray disc, so if you aren't yet ready to go to 4K, you can buy the 4K one now and have that disc when you're ready to go there. This one also supports, I think, this one supports ultraviolet, which I think just does iTunes and the ultraviolet thing, but you will get a digital version with a coupon on here. I'm going to see if this works with Movies Anywhere because I think the studio on this one, I'm not sure which studio published this movie, but some of the studios now support this Movies Anywhere thing, which I'm a huge fan of, where you get the physical movie that you purchased, then you get the digital version on most of the online services out there. I talked about that in the past. I think it's a great thing for consumers, so we'll take a look and see where it goes. By the way, these movies are at a really high bit rate comparatively, or compared to Blu-ray. So this one, I'm not sure exactly which one this falls into, but the Blu-ray 4K movies will be coming to you on a 50 gigabyte disc, a 66 gigabyte disc, or a whopping 100 gigabyte disc. The 100 gigabyte discs will run at 128 megabits per second. the 66 gigabyte discs at 108 megabits per second, and the 50s come in at 82 megabits per second. All of those bit rates higher than what you would get normally on a 1080p Blu-ray. They need to be because there's a lot more visual information, but the movies are also encoded with HEVC, which is more efficient, which means you get better quality images at the same bit rate you would have had with the Blu-ray. So you actually get more here, even though you are going at a higher resolution. So I'm really eager to see how these movies look, and I will tell you what I thought of them when we get to it. Another modern flick I got here was The Martian, which I've already seen, but I really liked it. And I don't think my wife has seen it yet, so I want to check it out in 4K. And I think this is one of the flagship movies that was released on the format when it came out about a year ago. So I'm really eager to watch this one again. And it looks like it does have a digital code here also. This one's ultraviolet as well. So we'll be playing around with that. I think ultraviolet merged with this Movies Anywhere thing, but I'll double check on that. And I'm sure a lot of you will let me know down below in the comment stream. And then I picked up this one just to kind of have something to show off my new television with. This is Planet Earth 2, and this is a nature documentary, and I've heard some outstanding things about it, especially given that we can watch it in 4K Blu-ray glory here, and it comes on 3 discs. So there's a lot of content here, and I'm sure I'll be spending an afternoon or two when the kids are out of the house watching some nature on my big set there, so that's going to be kind of fun. And now I've got 2 classic movies to show you. The first one here is E.T. the Extraterrestrial, which I haven't owned in a physical form probably since the VHS days, so it was probably time to pick this one up again. What's funny about this movie in particular was that it came out at I think the same year, maybe a year before The Return of the Jedi came out. We had so many great movies coming out in the early 80s, one after the other, most of them not sequels, most of them new IP. Back to the Future is a great example of another great film from that era. So spectacular movie. My kids obviously haven't seen it yet, so I'm eager to share this experience with them. What's funny, when I was a kid, my brother, who's a couple of years younger than me, was terrified of E.T. for some reason. And we went on a family trip to Universal Studios in Florida, and at the end of the E.T. ride there, E.T. would come out and say your name, and it scared the living daylights out of him when that happened. That was pretty funny. So that is E.T. And the last movie that I've got here in the box is one of my all-time favorites ever, is Terminator 2 Judgment Day. What a fantastic film. This is just, for a sequel, like how could the sequel ever be better than the original? This one is certainly one that was as good, if not better, than the original film. I really liked this movie quite a bit, not only for the special effects, but just the overall film itself, the story, the cinematography, everything. I love James Cameron movies, and this one is certainly one of his best. And I've owned this on Laserdisc. I've owned this on VHS. In fact, I've owned this probably 2 or 3 times on Laserdisc, and definitely twice on Blu-ray, because my original Blu-ray did not have the DTS HD audio, and there was a sale, and I picked up the DTS HD version. Now I got it again along with another Blu-ray disc here, so I am eager to check this one out and watch it all over again. And speaking of Laserdisc, I figured I would show you what Laserdiscs look like with another film series that hasn't yet made its way to Blu-ray 4K yet, and when it does, I will probably purchase them again. So this is my Star Wars Trilogy box set. This was the special edition movies. I probably bought this now. Yeah, this was from 20 years ago. In fact, around this time, 20 years ago, when I was a senior in college, I picked this up. And I had already owned 2 other versions on Laserdisc, but what was happening during that period of time is that things kept changing and improving in home theater, and they moved over to a digital audio standard called Dolby. I think they called it Dolby AC3 back then, but now it's called Dolby Digital, the 5.1 channel sound that's on every DVD and Blu-ray out there. Laserdisc started all of that, and this is what these movies look like on Laserdisc, these huge platter-size films with analog video on there, along with digital audio, and it was a huge jump in sound definition, and a lot of us were getting home theater systems at that point. I put my first one in 1994 at my house when I was still in high school, and this really was a great way to watch the Star Wars films. Even though it is the special editions and they made some changes, the sound was just awesome on these films, and I really enjoyed watching them. The problem with Laserdisc, though, is that depending on the type of disc you had to flip the disc over at least once an hour. And then some movies, like the original Star Wars films that came out in a prior box set, were in a format called CAV, C-A-V. and those required the disc to be flipped every 30 minutes. And the disc makers, or disc player makers, had the ability to flip the discs over automatically. They had the head kind of go flip around the disc while it was inserted into the machine, so you didn't have to get up as much. But with these movies, you get about 2 hours, and then you had to take one disc out and put in another one. Usually, most of these Star Wars films came on 2 discs for the CLV version here, which plays an hour per side. So there was still some getting up and flipping discs around. You had a built-in intermission, but the other set I had, every 30 minutes, was kind of a pain in the you-know-what. But we've come a long way, but these are movies that, like the Terminator here, that I have owned many, many times over the years, and I've certainly made my contributions to Hollywood here, but I'm happy to do it because these are great films, and some of these films I'm looking forward to sharing with my kids, and hopefully they enjoy them as much as I did. So that's my initial haul here. I did pick up one other movie, Wonder Woman, which apparently is in my mailbox right now. It came in a separate shipment, but it's freezing outside, so I'm maybe going to get it in the morning perhaps. But in any event, that is what I picked up here. This was my first haul video. Let me know how I did. I'm also eager to hear from you about which 4K Blu-ray movies I should pick up next. I'm definitely looking to build out my library now, so let me know down in the comments below. I'm really eager to get movies that are really well transferred and made for this format. Sometimes they upconvert stuff from lower resolutions and it doesn't look so great in the new resolution. I would love to get kind of the movies that are really geared for this format. So let me know down in the comments below what I should pick up, and thank you all for watching my first haul video. This is Lon.TV, and thanks for watching.
This channel is brought to you by the Lon.TV supporters, including gold level supporters, the Black Eyed and Blues Music Hour podcast, Chris Allegretta, and Kalyan Kumar. If you want to help the channel, you can by contributing as little as $1 a month. Head over to lon.tv/support to learn more. And don't forget to subscribe. Visit lon.tv/s.